Hey everybody, this is the weekly forecast commencing on Monday, March the 4th, 2024. It's a very active week, but it's also a winding down, bringing closure week. What I mean by that is next Sunday, March the 10th, will be a new moon in Pisces. We have a new moon every 4 weeks, and wherever the new moon falls in your horoscope is where your priorities and attention is being drawn to, planting seeds with new direction, new focus, new opportunities. 2 weeks after the new moon is the full moon, which is revealing or bringing to a culmination what was planted, these new directions and ideas on the new moon, all fully revealing it by the full moon. Then that third week is the unfolding of what was revealed. The last week, the last quarter lunar phase, is this week. And the last week before the next new moon is a winding down, a bringing closure, or it's a holding pattern, just waiting for the next new moon to start another new cycle. So the basic rule of thumb is you don't want to launch important new events, projects, the week before the new moon, because the energy is winding down, and you want to wait till just after the new moon when the energies is ramping up to move into new directions. Now, with that said, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find direct links to sign up for my free daily message or how to book an astrology reading. All right, let's start with Monday. On March the 4th, the moon is in Sagittarius. The moon sets the general public tone, the public reactions. In Sagittarius is very outgoing and friendly and optimistic. It's a fire sign. It's ruled by optimistic Jupiter. So there's a lot of adventure and opportunity with the moon in Sagittarius. It's a great Monday to start the new work week. However, the moon will go void of course at 7:42 a.m. Pacific time until 1:16 p.m. However, the Sag moon is going to go void of course at 7:42 a.m. to 1:16 p.m. Pacific time, at which point the moon starts a whole new cycle again, but now in Capricorn. Sagittarius is very adventurous, it's outgoing. Capricorn is more conservative, let's get the job done, much more work-oriented. The void, of course, again, I mention this every week. It's when the moon is changing signs, in this case, from Sag to Capricorn. But while it's in Sag, it's no longer aspecting any planets in the horoscope until it goes into Capricorn and starts the whole cycle again. So when the moon isn't making any more aspects, there's no energy. The energy is flat. It's unproductive, and that is why during the moon void, of course, stick to your routine, keep doing what you've been doing. It's a time of rest, it's a time of introspection, but it's usually not a good idea to start something new because you don't have the wind behind your back, especially as we're going into the last lunar week of the lunar cycle. Because now the energy is winding down, and with the moon void, of course, best to be reflecting on where you've been, where you want to go, not yet ready to make commitments and decisions. But also on Monday, March the 4th, Discerning communication Mercury will be in harmony with progressive, inventive, futuristic Uranus. It's a day with Mercury and Uranus. You could be thinking out of the box, coming up with new original ideas. You may be much more interested or open to new technologies. It could be a really favorable time, but not during the moon void, of course, to get new software or get another computer or any type of technical device. And so you could be really, stimulated mentally. That's the Mercury, learning all these new techniques, these new software indicators. Now, on the 5th, on Tuesday, the moon's in Capricorn all day. But it's a really good day overall, because in the mid-morning Pacific time, the moon is first going to be in harmony with pragmatic, stabilizing business Saturn. In fact, Saturn is the planet that's associated with Capricorn. So the moon in Capricorn in harmony with Saturn, and then just after that, but it's all kind of melting together, then the moon is in harmony with expansive, lucky Jupiter. So that public moon in harmony with Jupiter and Saturn, in harmony with each other, it's really favorable for business. It's favorable emotionally for feeling more secure, more grounded. That's all mid-morning to late morning Pacific time. By 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, now the moon in Capricorn will be in harmony with the sun in Pisces. When the sun and the moon are in harmony, all seems to flow more easily, relationships are more comfortable. So overall, this is a really favorable day for achieving your goals and business. But because we're winding down the new moon, the last new moon cycle, this would be much more favorable for wrapping up old business, concluding it, or finally achieving the goals you've been working on for the past several weeks. On Wednesday, the moon continues in conventional, practical Capricorn. By late morning to noon, the moon will be in harmony with inspiring, empathetic Neptune. You might be feeling more inspired, more fulfilled. There could be this great healing energy, this spiritual energy. And then the moon goes void, of course, again. It's a very, I'm going to say active week for the void of course, but like a non-active with all these void of course periods. So on the 6th, now the moon in Capricorn goes void of course 11:36 a.m. until 4:40 p.m. Pacific time, at which point the moon goes into Aquarius. Capricorn and Aquarius are so different. In some ways, Capricorn is very conventional, traditional energies. When it goes into Aquarius, Aquarius is unconventional, alternative, futuristic. Capricorn is more comfortable with the past. Aquarius really wants to strive for the future. On the 7th, as the moon is in Aquarius, and it will remain in Aquarius until Friday, but on Thursday, there's no other planetary events, but the moon in Aquarius will form a square or a hard angle to expansive Jupiter. Jupiter is all this optimism, luck, protection. And so with the emotional moon hitting Jupiter, it's not a bad thing, other than you may have unrealistic expectations. You may be biting off more than you can chew. You may be feeling like you're in a really good, lucky period, but you may be expecting too much. You may be spending too much, overdoing it. Now you're feeling really upbeat. Moderation will win the day. This is the early afternoon Pacific time. On Friday, as the moon continues in a quirky, futuristic, innovative Aquarius, by around 11 a.m., 12 noon, it crosses over Venus. Venus is the planet of love, companionship, creativity, but having the emotional moon crossing over Venus once a month for an hour or two, it's a wonderfully social time, a compromising diplomatic time. Could be inspiring creativity, but it's a very sociable, charming time. Now, the moon goes void, of course, again at 10:57 a.m. to 5:04 p.m. Pacific time, and then the moon leaves more intellectual Aquarius, more aloof Aquarius, and then goes into Pisces. Pisces is more empathetic, emotional, comes from the heart, comes from the feelings, where when the moon was in Aquarius, you're more in your head. But during this day, the Mercury, discerning communication, decision-making Mercury, will be in Pisces, crossing over Neptune for the whole day. Now, on the positive, this can be where your mind, Mercury, is much more inspired, creative, altruistic. This can be a really compassionate, empathetic time. Your mind could be on healing, on empathy, charity. That's the positive. But Mercury to Neptune can sometimes lead to kind of distracted thinking, escapist daydreaming, and just being not being as focused as you could be. So it's not good for making important decisions. Plus, we're really close to the last couple of days of the previous new moon cycle, and the moon's void, of course, for like 6 hours. So during the moon void, of course, your mental faculties, Mercury with Neptune, may be more fuzzy, more distracted. But what would be best is to meditate, to calm the mind, listen to your inner voice, and trust your intuition. On Saturday, the 9th, the moon now continuing through Pisces into Sunday, the moon will cross over pragmatic, responsible Saturn late morning Pacific time. Now, that could trigger for an hour or two a lot of worrying, but I think it's, for most of you, it's going to be taking on a lot more responsibilities, because the sun in Pisces the whole day, and just before the new moon, will be in harmony with progressive Uranus. Sun Uranus, you're thinking out of the box, you're open to new ideas, more progressive ideas, you're not afraid of progress, of technology. And assertive Mars is also impacting Uranus. The Mars-Uranus, then you're having this dynamic, motivating energy to go for it, go for your goals. But the Sun-Uranus, you're getting really excited to try all new things. But it's just before, it's like 24 hours before the new moon. The new moon will be just after midnight Pacific time. It'll be then Pacific, it'll be going into Pacific daylight time. So Saturday, your mind could be exploding with all new progressive ideas. But it's best to just, sleep on it, really think about it, but not act on these exciting new opportunities or ideas until after Sunday. Actually, on the day of the new moon, it's usually not, even though it's the new moon, which is drawing us into a whole new direction, focusing on our mind on another domain of life. On the day of the new moon is very dark. It hasn't yet started to really open up yet. So it's best to wait a couple of days before you start and act on important new directions. And here's discerning communication. Mercury on Sunday will be in harmony with probing, investigating Pluto. Pluto also rules psychology and the occult. Mercury is the mind. With Mercury to the Pluto, you might be more exploring, more interested, dwelling into the occult, psychic phenomena, astrology, or psychology. When you're communicating to people with the Mercury, the planet of communications, in harmony with Pluto, you're able to really have much more deep, profound conversations. And with the new moon, you're starting to feel more inspired, but being in Pisces, caring more about the world at large, wanting to do something more important. And with the Mercury-Pluto, something more profound. And once again, the moon will go void, of course, at 12:46 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time until 5:20 p.m., at which point the moon leaves emotional, sensitive Pisces and goes into fiery, aggressive, assertive Aries. Aries, a fire sign. And so all these ideas that are exploding in your head on Saturday, even on Sunday, but then void, of course, for nearly 5 hours, a good time to just reflect on all this new ideas. And on Monday, you can hit the ground running to start pursuing these new projects. Excellent for starting to open up to new ideas, reinventing your life with bringing in some new directions, some new options. So I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.go. That's .co. Until next week, be safe and well.